What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at The Distance. Got a video for you guys. This is going to be a prediction for Bredis Prescott versus Mike Alvarado. Bout takes place tomorrow night in the undercard of Manny Pacquiao versus Juan Manuel Marquez 3. Bout is a light welterweight bout. It's putting together contender versus contender, but also you can argue prospect for Mike Alvarado. Prospect, contender, whatever. And Bredis Prescott, who is, of course, a contender. Just came off a loss over from Paul McCloskey. He had a loss to Paul McCloskey. And the fight that I did think he won the fight against McCloskey. I think he did, I think he did enough for the win. But, pretty much the hometown fighter is going to get to the decision in, fights like those. But that was a close one, and I scored that one I scored it like 114, 113 for Prescott. I think the knockdown also helped him in that fight, but it is what it is. Mike Alvarado, I believe, is coming off a win over Gabriel Martinez. He's coming off a victory over Gabriel Martinez. And to the public, we last saw him in the fight against Raynar. We all remember my Raynar rant from back in May 2nd, on how I would never pay to see Raynar fight ever again, or how I have no interest in seeing Raynar fight. But the thing with Mike Alvarado is this: Mike Alvarado has looked beatable. He's looked beatable. I think that there are ways to beat him. Just multiple ways of beating Mike Alvarado, but he makes up for that in terms of toughness and persistence. In a fight against Bredis Prescott, he's gonna have to be the man that comes forward. He's gonna have to be the one pressing the action. He has to work behind the jab. Something I noticed with Mike Alvarado is that he has a jab that can be used pretty much as a power punch, and it's the way he throws his jab. And when he throws it like from a high guard, it looks like it lands harder than most fighters' like right hands. It's kind of like with like Mark Breland from back in the day, who's a former like welterweight champion. When Mark Breland threw the jab, and a lot of fighters have went on to say this, when Mark Breland threw his jab, it actually had more of an effect on fighters than the right hands of some fighters. And Mark Breland was very much dependent on on his left jab. He was very dependent on it because, he could just use it to stay on the outside or use it to set up, a big punch. And Mike Alvarado is no Mark Breland, of course, but he's very dependent on that left jab. He's dependent on it, and that jab is utilized as pretty much as a weapon, just with the way he throws it. So, pretty much in this fight, he is going to definitely have to work behind the jab. He's going to have to pressure Prescott. He's going to have to pretty much take away that ranginess. And the way to take away the ranginess of a fighter is you have to get your head on the chest of the fighter, of course. You have to fight close to a taller fighter, to a rangier opponent, just so that they don't keep you at the end of their jab. So what he's going to have to do is he's going to probably have to eat a couple jabs or eat a couple power shots to get inside to get his head on that chest. And he definitely has to get his head on Prescott's chest in this fight. He has to get his head on his chest because he takes away the ranginess. And from time to time, Prescott does have trouble shortening up his hooks on the inside. And also when you kind of make Prescott go back, he gets out of position. He changes stances. And when he changes stances, he's available to the straight right hand. So pretty much pressure and coming forward is going to be the main focus for Alvarado in this fight. He doesn't want to stand at the center of the ring with Prescott because Prescott can dictate the fight using that long jab and using his reach. So the only direction that Alvarado wants to come is forward. He wants to cut off the parameters of the ring. Every perimeter of the ring, he wants to cut it off. He wants to try to cut off every single angle for where Prescott wants to work from. Because Prescott can work angles. He's shown that he can box, but his natural tendency is to punch. And it's even when he gets hurt, his tendency is to punch. to stand up and punch. So what he wants to do is he does want to shorten up his shots inside. He wants to come underneath Prescott's punches and look for the right hook inside. So I think that's really all Alvarado needs to do is just pressure him and get him on the ropes, get him in the corner and go to the body, take away the height advantage in this fight. In this fight for Bredis Prescott, Prescott wants to get full extension on the jab, but he wants a lot of footwork in this fight. He wants footwork in this fight because Alvarado's footwork is very flat, and also when you use lateral movement against him, he does tend to cross his feet. So in this specific fight, he wants to work behind the jab. He wants to get full extension on the jab. He wants to get full extension in all his punches so he keeps Mike Alvarado on the outside. So he wants to keep him on the outside, but also he wants to utilize a lot of lateral movement. When his back hits the ropes, he wants to get right off the ropes. He wants to kind of change direction quite a bit in this fight. He wants to use corners. He wants to look for the left hook. Yeah, look for the left hook inside when Alvarado's walking in, because when Alvarado walks in, his guard goes down because most of the time he telegraphs that right hand, so Prescott can come in with a quick left hook, and he has to shorten it. He has to throw a quick left hook, but he has to follow up his left hook with a straight right hand. The short right, possibly like a short right hand inside, because when Alvarado gets hit, that guard kind of comes down. So he wants to come in, he wants to throw that straight right hand. And also, pretty much like I said, center is, like I said with Alvarado, how he doesn't want to fight the center of the ring. Prescott wants to fight at the center of the ring. He wants to pretty much keep Alvarado at the end of his jab. He also wants to land a straight right hand from specific angles. He's not going to land it straight in front of Alvarado. He's going to have to get himself in an angle and get Alvarado out of position to where he can land that straight right hand with full extension. And pretty much he wants to be very patient in this fight, but also it's footwork. He wants to step out of range whenever Alvarado gets close. He wants to step out of range. He wants to move side to side so that Alvarado doesn't get set and that he's not in a position to where he can throw. That's pretty much what Prescott needs to do in this fight. He needs, first off, full extension of his jab to keep Alvarado at the end of that jab. He wants to utilize lateral movement so that Alvarado gets out of position. So he gets out of position so he can't punch him. And also another thing he wants to do is evade the jab and counter the jab. Counter the jab with that right hand. Get full extension on it. Use the size and range advantage to his best of his ability. Look for the left hook inside, because when he gets on the ropes, he covers up and doesn't do anything. But I think he's looking for opportunities when he's standing on the ropes, looking for an opportunity to counter. And against Alvarado, there's going to be countering opportunities when he's on the ropes. And because most of the time both fighters, their hands don't get back into position to protect themselves. So he does want to look for the left hook counter, but follow up the left hook counter with a short right hand inside. Also tie him up on the ropes. He has to tie up Mike Alvarado on the ropes so that he doesn't get any work, and if he finds himself getting on the ropes. So pretty much who I think is going to win this fight, I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to go with Bredis Prescott in this fight. I think Bredis Prescott in this fight has the ability to win this fight if he stays disciplined. If he's Ranger, he has to He has to use the size advantage. He has to use his footwork, and I think he's going to have to beat Alvarado to the punch, and he's going to have to work first. And I think he will be able to get off first, but I'm going to go with Bredis Prescott. I'm going to go with Bredis Prescott with a very close decision in this one. This one can go either way, but I'm going to go with Prescott by decision. This is the ultimate test for Alvarado. And as I mentioned before, I think Alvarado should be fighting Casamigos before he fights Prescott. But this is the fight we get, and I'm going to go with Prescott by a very close decision. So anyway, peeps, that was the distance. Hit me up on Twitter, Julian W. the Great. I'm out of here. Peace.